I think I did two pilots that season. Did I'm in Hell, and then this like one about witches that was stupid, and then I think that was it.
Witches Are Stupid. That's a good title.
Yeah.
Someone should do that one.
That was called Hocus Pocus 2.
In a world of bad movies, two follically challenged men will stop at nothing to share their opinions of them. Their wives are tired of listening, but are you? This isn't the podcast you deserve, but it's the one you need. Prepare yourself for Bald Guys and Bad Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of Bald Guys and Bad Movies. I'm your host, Michael Stella, here with...
Troy. I'm here.
Troy Luter. Thank you for coming once again to listen to us bullshit about some random movie. And how you doing today, Troy?
I always am thankful for coming once again. I'm always appreciative for coming once again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How am I doing? I'm doing well, man. I'm a little tired, but
yeah.
Like I said, I just worked out and got sweaty, and the brain is now it's hitting the nitrous, that spare tank.
I should have done the same. Instead, I got a Paloma in one hand and a bottle of water in the other. So, you know.
That sounds fucking great, dude. Not knocking another man's... Have you blown through all that spare booze from your party? I know you had a surplus.
Oh yeah,
okay.
That shit was done. Yeah, but that was months ago, dude. That was back in August.
Okay.
We didn't have that much spare booze. Maybe a couple bottles, but I mean, you know.
Yeah, you made it sound like you had like the beginnings of a speakeasy.
One sad thing though is my sister and my brother-in-law got me this bottle of like this nice tequila, this Herradura Platinum or something. It was it was this weird sort of tequila that I'd never had. The taste was a little funky, but it was still good. The sad thing about the situation though was we always put our alcohol in the freezer, right? Because alcohol doesn't freeze. You put it in the freezer so it's nice and cold when you make your drinks. It doesn't warm up the mixers, right? And then you don't need as much ice and everything. Either way, we go in there when like my wife opens the door. She's like, "Whoa, why does it smell like tequila in here?"
Oh,
like,
shit!
What?
Did it leak?
A little, like it popped, like it cracked. Like there was like it popped a crack right on the bottom where it was sitting, and just completely drained out into the freezer.
It got too cold in the bottle?
I have no idea what happened, dude.
Huh.
Like, I have no idea.
Oh, did it leak all over your frozen food and stuff? Noah's like, "Hey, Dad, it's popsicle. Tastes a little funny, but in a good funny way."
Yeah, right. Exactly. What are we talking about tonight, Troy?
Well, we're talking about The Waterboy, starring Adam.
That's some high quality H2O.
Oh boy, yeah, 90 minutes of that, folks. Look, it's a classic Adam Sandler movie. What's a quick synopsis, Mike? And then we'll say if we should watch it.
I thought I didn't pull one up. I thought you always pull that up.
You were taking the reins of this. I can.
Well, I'm sorry. Waterboy synopsis. Raised by his overprotective mother, Helen, Bobby Boucher Jr. is the water boy for a successful college football team, coached by Red Beaulieu. When Beaulieu fires Bobby, he takes up the same position for a losing rival team, led by despairing Coach Klein. After witnessing Bobby beat up a player who teased him too much, Klein adds him to the roster as a linebacker. Soon, Klein's players are championship contenders.
I just want to revise the opening sentence with this one. Mm-hmm. Robert Bobby Boucher Jr. is a socially inept, stuttering, and somewhat mentally challenged 31-year-old man serving as a water boy for University of Louisiana football program. Just want to tack that to the beginning of what you just said. So would you recommend it before we get into spoilers?
Hell yeah, I would recommend it. Okay. It is a funny, goofy romp, man. It's just fun. If you want to watch, look, it's not fucking, it ain't Godard. It's not freaking Coppola. You know what I mean? It's not Martin Scorsese. It's a fun, goofy, like, comedic movie. That's all I'm gonna say.
And I'd recommend it. I mean, there's no harm in it. It is a throwback to a simpler time in comedies. And I would say it's probably at the height, if not close to the height, of Adam Sandler's reign of box office, and when he was pulling in huge draws at the
hell yeah
box office, and anything he put on screen worked. People just loved it.
This is one of the few like Adam Sandler like goofy character movies that I like. Like I fucking hate Little Nicky. And tell you the truth, like I don't really like a lot of people love Big Daddy. I don't really like Big Daddy that much. I like Billy Madison. And I like Happy Gilmore. And
Billy
I like
Madison
this.
was his sixth film.
What?
He was in
What
five
was the
films
first
before
one?
that. His first one was Going Overboard.
Okay, so
1989. Shakes the Clown. I do remember
Okay.
Shakes, but I don't remember him in it. Coneheads. That was
Coneheads,
1993.
okay.
Airheads. Got a head
Airheads,
theme.
sure.
Mixed Nuts, starring Steve Martin.
Okay.
Then Billy Madison.
Okay, so this was his
95.
This was his first starring role.
Yes, well, he's the lead.
Because like in Airheads, he was part of a group, right? Steve
Yes.
Buscemi and the wonderful Brendan Fraser, who's back in the limelight. Thank God, because he's awesome. Billy Madison was his first like real movie.
That's his
like,
first starring vehicle.
starring role. Billy Madison, he's playing a caricature, but he's not playing like a goofy, over-the-top character. He's like a burnout moron, right? It's not the same as, say, Waterboy or Little Nicky. You know what I mean?
It's not 90 minutes of a funny voice.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like that sort of, completely over-the-top Adam Sandler sort of thing.
So Waterboy, refresh my memory, you said this is your favorite Adam Sandler movie, or is it up there?
No, not my favorite, but I love it. Like it cracks me the fuck up. Like I think it's funny as hell, and it's one of the few goofy voice Adam Sandler characters that I love. And I think it's probably because the character is so lovable. Like he's such an innocent, sweet soul. You know what I mean?
And I'll say that is the saving grace, because the part of me that doesn't like this type of role is the same part of me that fucking hated Jack and Jill playing just an annoying fucking character with a weird voice or whatever. Little Nicky's like,
I
whatever the
hated
fuck
that.
it was.
I fucking hated
But
that.
Waterboy, he's so sweet and earnest
I know.
that you can forgive it, right? You can just like, okay, I'll go along with it. But
He's such a sweet person,
I'm rewatching it after
30 years.
probably haven't seen this since it came out. And I totally forgot about everything. It was really like watching a brand new movie. Some things came back to me, but I was like, man, I wonder if he just played this a little bit more real. Could have been, do you really need the...
No, man. No, man. You can't fucking do this one real,
I don't know,
bro.
man, because I think he has the acting ability, the comedic chops to pull it off. I don't think he really needed to, but I get it. It's so ingrained with the movie. In the movie, it's just complete silliness.
I also feel like it's kind of like a caricature on like Forrest Gump. You know what I mean? Like, because Forrest Gump, I think, came out like 5 years earlier, right?
94,
like
94.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Forrest Gump
Still
was
fresh.
like still fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a Southern kid with, kind of a speech impediment.
You're probably right. It's so close, it probably was a callback to that. Yeah.
He plays football. He's like an underdog who gets a chance, and then he does, you know what I mean? It has a similar sort of like feel.
The cast around him amazing, dude. Jerry Reed, Henry Winkler, Kathy fucking Bates, Fairuza Balk, who I've always had a crush on. She's a weird beauty, a strange beauty.
I wanted to see her boobs. I was like, damn, why do they always cut there? Damn it.
I just feel like if you wake up beside her, you may be missing a testicle or two. And, I liken it to Will Ferrell, who in a certain way plays quirky.
Sure, that's very accurate.
He has his own and a separate style, but I think everything has a shelf life. We kind of talked about this. I think with Adam Sandler, the humor, there's a shelf life to it, right? And
well, it's not just
at
that,
a certain
though.
point, the shtick kind of, you either reinvent yourself or it just there's diminishing returns, right? But
well, there's a shelf life to it, but there's also a time when they're coming up where all the old comedians are looking at them like, what the fuck is this person doing? Literally, like if you watch, like, I don't remember what documentary it was, but I watched something about Saturday Night Live, and they were talking about how when Adam Sandler was coming up and when Will Ferrell was coming up, they were just like, who the fuck are these weird ass dudes? Like, they just go up there and go, and the fucking audience eats it up, and they don't even understand like why the fuck people like it.
Right.
But there was a time where they just fucking destroyed audiences.
It's like that line from Big Lebowski. When I can't quote it verbatim, but it's the opening line. The dude, well, he was just the right man for his time. Right? And for whatever reason, the comedy leading up to that point needed just the goofy insanity, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and they needed that release valve, and people just wanted it. They wanted a comedy that would just turn your brain off and just...
I knew a guy who went to college with Will Ferrell, and I was like, well, was he funny? And they were like, not really, not really in that sort of like, he didn't make people laugh. Like, he was fucking weird, he was just that guy. It's like, oh, there's Will Ferrell running around naked again. You know what I mean? Like,
not too dissimilar from the characters that he's made.
Yeah, dude. And it's so weird. Like, comedy is like this sort of roller coaster where it's like the entire American community, like at one point is going to want very highbrow comedy, and then it just rebounds, and now they're at the valley where they want this super stupid lowbrow, and it's just back and forth. It's weird.
Well, you saying it just made me think that probably true for Ferrell, but also Sandler. They're just that guy, the guy you might know who does a really weird voice. And you're at the party. Hey, do the voice.
Yeah.
Oh, shippy-doo-doo.
Yeah.
They were able to take those little quirks and make full-on fucking careers out of it, especially Sandler. I think Ferrell has a bit more to some of it, like Anchorman. Like, he's an idiot, but he's a real character, and it's not based on a funny voice or whatever. But again, I'm knocking Sandler, but he was able to parlay that shit, man. Like, and it was probably shit he just did as a goof, with his friends or behind the scenes on stage at a club, and it just worked. And he like created a bunch of characters based on that. Some worked, some worked less. Looking at you, Little Nicky. Although I think I don't hate Little Nicky as much as you hate it, but
I fucking hate Little Nicky so much.
Is it the voice?
It's everything. It's his voice. It's his fucking, like, just his look. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know why, but I just can't fucking stand that character.
Rodney Dangerfield as the devil is just genius, though. Like, I gotta say, like, my God, it gets points just for that. So, Waterboy, we say see it. I mean, if you haven't seen it already,
see it.
Like, my God.
You've seen it. I mean, yeah, if you haven't seen it at this point, go watch. It's on Prime Video right now. If you're watching this podcast, or if you're, watching, I always say that. If you're listening, that's 2 months from now. We'll be saying watching. Yeah. Because we're going to do video.
Keep saying it, it'll happen. That's the rule.
It's going to happen. It's going to fucking happen. It's going to happen. First video of the year. First episode of the year will be video. I guarantee you will be able to watch it on YouTube. God damn it. I fucking promise.
I just noticed the Waterboy poster. I guess it's the official poster. And it's under the Waterboy high quality H2O exclamation point. That's your tagline under on the movie poster? Really?
Well,
I guess, but I mean, I don't know. Like
Waterboy Wiki. Oh yeah,
so,
right under a high quality H2O.
But and this is a question that I don't know if we included on the Jack and Jill podcast, but if this film, say if Jack and Jill came out back then, would it be considered a bad movie or another runaway hit for Adam Sandler?
Well, if it came out back then,
yeah, like in this
and
era,
had fucking Al Pacino,
the same cast, same everything,
it would be renowned as one of his best movies ever.
You think so?
Absolutely, because of the fact that he has Al Pacino doing all that fucking goofy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That, along with Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler, I don't see any way it wouldn't have been a hit. I really don't. I mean, hey, I could be wrong, but I could totally see it being a absolute hit back then. I'll tell you the truth, if it was made back then, it probably even would have been a better movie.
How so?
I think it would have been better because his jokes would have been newer. He wouldn't have used all his gags over the 15 years between The Waterboy and
a younger,
Jack and Jill.
Fresher Sandler.
It would have been a younger, fresher Sandler.
Maybe edgier or not as like you said, just not going to the well as much.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go to the well because he has a spring of all these great jokes, all these great gags. I think if it Jack and Jill came out then, it would have been a fucking hit.
It's just fascinating to me because a lot of people, probably people that were of the age, youngish, that saw The Waterboy probably laugh their asses off as they get older, and then they see Jack and Jill. That's a piece of shit. That's garbage. And have they aged out of the humor, or has it become stale?
I think it's become stale, and probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it wasn't as good. I just don't think it was. Yeah. I don't think it was as good of a film.
Yeah.
The Waterboy has heart. Jack and Jill is fucking weird.
And that's the other thing. There wasn't a lot of likable characters in Jack and Jill.
While they try to make her likable, I feel like they try to make Jill likable. I feel like they try to. The fact that she's so overbearing and annoying kind of detracts from it. But he is such a sweet, lovable character in this movie. You can't not, there's no way you can dislike this guy.
Right.
He is just the sweetest person on the planet, and he's so naive.
So, like you said, it taps into the heart of the character. Is a really nice character. But it also, because in the story, he discovers he has all this pent-up rage and frustration that when aimed properly can make him a force on the football field.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that opens it up to a lot of Sandler and pratfalls and, a lot of physical comedy.
Oh my God. Whenever when they're about to call hike and he's walking around behind the fucking football like having a complete fucking freak out session, he fucking turn to the opposing team and they're like, oh fuck, what is this guy gonna do to me? Oh my God, it's so funny, dude. It's like, why'd you say that about my mama? I didn't say anything about your mama. It's why'd you say that about my mama?
Then he nearly kills the guy. He's like, I'm sorry, Mama. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's I love my mama.
Now, I
love your mama, too.
I laughed out loud maybe 2 or 3 times. And then the rest was a
which
chuckle.
were those? Which were those?
The Roy Orbison tattoo on the ass.
Roy Orbison tattoo.
That was funny. I like when she was taking her shirt off. And what did he say? I'd never seen those before. It was the way he said it, the way he reacted to seeing boobies. I thought that was funny. God. And then I think there was one more that made me chuckle out loud.
What about Henry Winkler when he's on
fantastic.
the phone talking to his grandma, and the fucking phone plug is and
he's wearing heels.
He's like, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. And I love how they pan down to specifically show that the phone is unplugged and he's not talking to anyone. Did you catch that?
Yeah. No.
Dude, I fucking love that part.
That is pure Billy Madison insanity humor.
It's so good.
Like, and I love
so
that. That's
good.
why Billy Madison was loaded with, like, you know, there's a scene where the guy's completely on fire. He's like laughing and clapping as the guy burns, presumably to death. It was filled with that. So it's nice to see. It was good to see that. Would you say this is his maturing film? Like, he was kind of because was this his first? Because Billy Madison, he kind of played Adam Sandler. Happy Gilmore, he kind of played Sandler.
I feel like Happy
was that kind of himself?
But what do you mean by the mature?
I mean, in terms of portraying a character that's not necessarily just being himself, being Adam Sandler.
Absolutely, because I think this was his first like real character, right? This was the third Adam Sandler film, right?
Well, no, actually, no. Wedding Singer was before this, so that would be Wedding Singer then. That was him.
Well, Wedding Singer was his maturing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like this was the first time he did a completely outlandish character film,
right?
You know,
that's
those
true.
other three definitely were people. You know what I mean? They were normal human beings you could see existing on the planet. You know what I mean? This guy, I mean, yeah, you could see him existing on a planet, but it's also dialed up to 11.
I guess what
I mean?
What I'm getting to or asking, would you say Waterboy was more of a challenge to him to portray a character as opposed to just slightly augmenting who he really was in real life?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's a long-winded way of me saying I give him kudos because in terms of comedy, he's trying to do something different. Right.
I will say, I feel like as we're having this conversation, like your initial like comments to what you said made me think like you really didn't like it. But as we're like talking about it, I feel like I was either wrong and you actually did kind of like it, or like you're starting to appreciate it more as we discuss it.
No. But by like the last 30 minutes, like I felt like it overall, the comedy just kind of lost steam, but it was because it volleys between sight gags, between, you know, character humor to, you know, this and that. So there's a lot packed in, at least in the first 60 minutes. And then it kind of falls into like, we're going to wrap things up. There's going to be a big heroic thing, which the movie needs. His characters kind of out the box started to annoy me because it's the, I let the water, the H2O was very good for you. I mean, that's me murdering his genius portrayal of the Waterboy.
Right.
But the heart of the character, like I guess as I watched the film, I started getting used to it. And I will say the supporting characters
were so good.
Henry Winkler was amazing. Kathy Bates was amazing. Jerry Reed as the rival coach, amazing. And I think that's the key. And I think Sandler, you know, with exceptions, he has made good choices with it, especially if he's playing a character that's extreme, casting like really good actors around him, right? So it's not just relying on this extreme character or this really goofy guy.
He's great at that.
Yeah.
He's great at that. Like in Happy Gilmore with what's the guy's name who played Shooter McGavin? I can't remember. But then and then freaking I want to say Donald Pleasance. No. The guy
Barker?
who played Apollo Creed. Freaking
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers, right. I was like, I know his name, but I can't remember it, dude. He was so good in that. Oh my God.
I mean, the plot is pretty basic. And, you know, there's a lot of gags and moments kind of strung along the line of the plot. And some of them land, some of them feel dated. But nothing felt cringe to me, right? Oh, Rob Schneider. This was the first movie where he was like, "You could do it." Because I keep remembering.
I don't know.
You could do it, Nicky. Because he shows up in Little Nicky as
does
a
he?
variant of this character. It became a thing. I don't know if he did it in more than those two movies, but I feel like in several Sandler movies, it became like a meme where he would just show up randomly. You could do it. But I think it started here in The Waterboy, that character. So that was kind of cool to see that. It's not my favorite Adam Sandler comedy by any means. Billy Madison is my favorite. And I really like Big Daddy. I mean, Big Daddy is I feel like Big Daddy didn't try hard. And because he wasn't trying hard, he wasn't trying to be funny, it made it work. Because the humor in that felt organic and real. And there was heart in that too. See, that's another example. He can play heart, and he doesn't have to overplay it, right? He was kind of a dick in the beginning of that movie, and there's real, evolution of character where he, basically falls in love with this, not in a creepy way, but you know what I mean, like the little boy.
No, yeah.
Yeah, like he becomes actually a dad, and I remember scenes where he was like, "Oh, what do you want? What do you want at school? I want to wear the Frankenstein monster. I want to be called Frankenstein. Sure, why not? Right? So it's like this.
Oh yeah, it calls him Frankenstein.
Yeah, parenting is easy, but then as the movie goes on, he realizes, you have to be a mentor. You can't just let kids do whatever. And I don't know. I haven't seen that movie since I saw it in the theater either. So maybe I should rewatch it. But I just remember walking out thinking that was a damn good movie. Like I felt like it was a movie. When I see a movie like Waterboy, it feels like a joke. When you know what I mean? Like a one-note joke.
I do know what you mean.
There's no meat on it. It's not that's fine. Sometimes you just want that. But when I saw Big Daddy, I felt like I saw a movie. Like a real story there. And nothing felt too over the top. But again, it's whatever you're in the mood for. And I'll say this, I'll give Adam Sandler props that he may not get a lot. His career is pretty diverse. Not just now. Right now, he's doing like Uncut Gems, and he's got this basketball movie, which I
haven't seen that.
Punch Drunk Love, which was in this era, and I was really blown away by Punch Drunk Love.
Still haven't seen it, man, but I hear it's really good.
It takes you aback because Adam Sandler's in it. He is playing a real dude. He's not leaning on any of his crutches, and it's just a weird movie. It's like kind of bizarre. But
that's what I hear.
Yeah, like it's hard to peg it to, I can't say, hey, watch it, you'll laugh, because you may chuckle, but it's not like the typical easy layup Adam Sandler jokes. You don't watch it to laugh. You watch it for a performance and the story first. I'm trying to think of favorite parts. Fairuza Balk is fucking gorgeous. She's got a weird beauty to her. You know what I mean? That mouth of hers, it's almost shark-like.
It is shark-like.
I think her hickeys will like remove flesh if you allowed her.
At the end of the movie when his dad, shows up, that's the director. That's Frank Caracci.
Oh, is that the director? I was wondering, what did he have prosthetics on or something? Or
no, he's just a weird sort of short, kind of fat dude, and he just like contorted his face.
Yeah. What's your favorite parts of Waterboy?
One of my favorite parts.
Fairuza Balk's boobs. Well, her nipples were really prominent in that first scene with Kathy Bates.
Were they?
Yeah. I'm like, whoa. 1998. Me Too's nowhere in sight, and women are objectified. Ah, the good old days. Well, I was trying to remember, you had mentioned that you and Drea, there's a thing that he says in Waterboy that you always said around Noah, and Noah finally...
Gatorade!
Oh, was that the taunt? Yeah. The taunt, right?
Yeah, Gatorade!
Yeah, okay. I thought that was it. I'm like, that sounds like the one he was talking about.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Oh, and I like how she revived him with the igloo water.
Yeah,
it's always
exactly. Now that's what I call high quality H2O.
And I'm remembering now when he first encountered Henry Winkler, who was in his I guess his office alone.
And he's talking to himself. This is when they take the ball. This is when we drop it. We turn it over. They run it in for a touchdown.
Well, yeah, they're like, oh, they took the ball. He drops it, picks it up. No one on our team's even close. Exactly. He can take his time.
Right. Yeah. Has time to run it in for a touchdown.
And then when Adam Sandler sees the water bucket in the corner,
Henry Winkler turns on the light and he's like, hi, what are you? I didn't know anyone was here. And and like for some reason he kind of like he faints or something. I can't remember exactly what happens, but he's like, oh, it's okay. Hey, you just need some water. And he pulls out his little like collapsible cup.
Yeah.
Right? And he like pulls a little water jug out of a holster on his fucking hip and he pours it. And he's like, takes a sip and Henry Winkler's like, this is really good. It's a lot better than the water I serve my players. He's like, what water is that? He's like, oh, over there. And he'll look over and it's like this rotting like pail of like water with like scum, soap scum on top and shit. And he's like, you serve your players that water? he's like, well, yeah. He's like, you have to let me be your water boy. I have to be your water boy. He's like, I can't pay you. He's like, I'll do it for free. Just promise me you will never serve that water to anybody ever again. He's like, I promise.
Yeah.
Henry Winkler's character is so good.
He is amazing, man. And in that scene, Sandler, he's so earnestly outraged.
Yeah.
But you know, he's not overplaying it. He's saying very quietly, like he's diffusing a bomb.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about it. Like, you cannot serve that to anyone, okay?
Dude,
I'll be a water boy for free. Do not give that to anyone. That was a good scene, man. There were like pockets of really good scenes, you know?
Well,
like,
then later on, the first time he tackles the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I can't play football, right? And then they go talk to the mom, whatever. They do the Roy Orbison tattoo part, which is pretty funny. And then the next
wait,
day,
no, do it right. What he said, he was like, "Mama don't need to know everything. What Mama don't know won't hurt her." And like, he pulled out his pants and
he was like, "Well, my mom didn't want me to get a tattoo of Roy Orbison."
Right.
And then he like walks. He was like. He pulls down his pants. He's like, but that didn't stop me. And he has a tattoo of Roy Orbison on his ass. One of my favorite parts also is like the next day when he shows up to football practice, and he's like not really tackling anybody, and he gives them the tackle fuel. You know, it's like, you know, imagine that is someone that you know was mean to you, and he tackles the shit out of some guy, and Henry Winkler comes up. He's like, Bobby. That was amazing. Can you do this for me every single game for the rest of this season? He's like, Coach, no, not only will I do it for you, but yes, I will do it for you. It fucking kills me every time, dude.
Now, here's the question for you. I just thought about it. And we should probably make this part of any retro movie review.
What?
Could this movie get made with the humor, we're talking about comedy, with the type of humor it has today? Because everything's so PC. There's so many people that get offended. I mean, I think they actually say the word retard several times, right? Like, so could this movie get away with some of the stuff?
Probably not.
Which is a shame.
Probably not. But I will say it's pretty funny.
I mean, it is funny. It's just sad that everyone's so fucking uptight these days that you can't even Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder just got under the wire right? Like it just
Dude,
got over the finish
and it's
line.
pretty fucking bad. That's way worse than this movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I'm still.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? That fucking line is so fucking funny.
I think
fucking Robert Downey Jr. in blackface.
He's
Like,
was he on
fuck.
Joe Rogan? He was somewhere like saying, I regret doing that role. And
Oh, did
it
he?
was funny, man. It was funny.
It was so
fucking
funny.
Like the characters are idiots, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing if it's a serious movie about a man pretending to be black, but even that could have some merits, I guess.
Yeah.
It's all about intent, right?
Oh, when the fucking with Colonel Sanders, like, why do they have to have a character that looks just like Colonel Sanders, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit! He's like, why? My mama said crocodiles are ornery because they got all them teeth, no toothbrush.
Yeah.
And but the best part is she's like, oh, the medulla oblongata, and then he fucking tackles him, and then later on when he's like angry at his mom, he's like says all this stuff, and he's like, and crocodiles are angry because of the medulla oblongata, mama.
Oh yeah, what? Cool. Didn't she have a flashback? Benjamin Franklin didn't invent electricity. He's the devil, or it was something like that.
Benjamin Franklin didn't invent electricity. I invented electricity. Benjamin Franklin's the devil.
What would you rate Waterboy, the Waterboy, Mike?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Fair enough. For what?
For grilled baby crocodiles out of 5.
Oh yeah, she did have that in the cookout, huh? Fariza Balk took a big bite with that luscious shark-like mouth of hers.
She's the only one who could get through that tough eye.
I'll give it a 3. It's a solid 3. 3 Roy Orbison ass tattoos out of 5. It's a fun, harmless, sweet movie. Like, it's the humor isn't mean, even though there's a lot of mean things that happens to him, but it has a good heart to it. More so than a lot of the earlier Sandler movies. Like in Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, there's an undertone of anarchy to it.
Yeah.
Right? Where this just feels like a really just trying to endear you to this character.
Totally. Oh my God. There's so many parts that I love. When he's sitting in the fucking hospital and his mom is like faking her
illness.
she's like, her illness, and he's watching New Year's Eve and Dick Clark's on TV, and he's like, look, mama, look who's on TV.
The devil.
The devil. The devil.
Gatorade not only quenches your thirst better, it tastes better too, idiot.
You're drinking the wrong water.
Gatorade.
H2O.
Gatorade.
H2O.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.